I'm your host, Jeanne Street. Welcome to this episode. And today we're going to be talking all about the goddess you. This is a little back scene on my first book since we're celebrating the anniversary of her arrival in January 26 of 2017. I hosted my very first book signing, and it was such an event. So I wanted to share a little bit about that with you, because we were coming off of a time where we were talking a lot about praying and manifesting and what that looks like for God-based people, for people that are leaning into God and wanting to know, is this the right way to do it? Is this going against God, asking for these desires? So we're going to go through that, and then at the very end of our conversation, I have something really exciting to share with you, something my team and I have put together to really support you, and I'm super excited about it. So stay tuned.
When she smiles at you, she'll say, angels don't lie, angels don't lie, angels don't lie, no, no, angels don't lie, angels don't lie, no, 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 no.
So welcome back. So today we're talking about the goddess you, my very first book, which is 12 Principles for Living in Your Soul Alignment. Through writing this book, it was a deep dive of healing. It was going into places that I wasn't aware or really prepared to enter. But I believe that when we have a calling, when we have what I call postcard visions come to us, something that we know to be true, that we just can't stay away from, that we have to fulfill, then when we take that leap of faith and we go forward, God reveals more and more of what that journey really is about. All of our lessons here are teachings. They're supporting us. They're not meant to keep us stuck in the same. So that was how it was for me with writing The Goddess You. I didn't go to college. I wasn't that girl who did well in school. So for me to take this venture and this leap of faith to write, well, it cost me some unnerving. It cost me an awakening, I will say, to put down the things that I was used to holding, which was exactly those words. I would hold above my own head, well, Jeanne, you didn't go to college, you don't know, you need a career, you need this. And so I was searching for the semblance of how to be important in life, how to fulfill all the things I knew I was supposed to do. I wanted to take classes, but we never had the money. I wanted to finish school. I had dropped out of beauty school, so I thought maybe that was my route. Where was God calling me? And nothing ever made complete sense. And so when I took that leap of faith to start writing and really poured into The Goddess You, I had laid the foundation already with God. There was praying involved, there was a release, and God first had me teach this wonderful workshop I called my Goddess Boot Camp. And back in the early teens, it was 2013, that the Goddess Boot Camp was born. I had been doing healing circles, I had been doing guided meditations, and I had been doing all these beautiful things, and I put it together to create the Goddess Boot Camp. And with the angels and God, it made complete sense. And then come around to 2015, it was putting it into a work, to make it a body of work, to make it a story. And that's what we have now. That is what The Goddess You is. It's a story of unlayering fear. There's an interesting saying people will talk about when you have a spiritual awakening or an alignment, so to speak, is it's a death of an ego. It's the death of something. You have to physically change things about yourself, your beliefs, your habits, in order to become the identity you're choosing. And so when I began writing The Goddess You, I chose to be an author. But at first I chose just to be a writer because it felt safer. It felt, I'll be a writer. I'm not an author, but I'll be a writer. So I was willing to put down my ego in order to fulfill that. And so I did. I wrote my heart out. I wrote and I wrote and I sat and I did all the things that I was supposed to do in terms of creating that sacred space for myself. I was meditating. I was juicing daily. I was really eating high vibe. I was letting go and purging of the things that were rising to the surface as I was writing. When I tell you these things are very healing, and I'm sure you can relate this to something that you do in your life, it's action-based. And then you find yourself, well, what do I do with all this? And so I actually had to put the principles into action as I was writing this book. I had a whole new level of awareness with these principles, of what does it mean to change my reactions in this moment. Like, I knew what it meant back then when I was creating the Goddess Bootcamp, but what does it mean here and now? It's completely different. And so the principles have continued to serve me this way as I've gone forward to write another book. And now as I'm on my third book, these principles are coming back and supporting me in a whole nother way, which I find completely amazing. Like, I had no idea when I was writing, when I was pouring it all out of me, like how foundational they were going to be, not only for myself, for my team, for my clients, for the people that have read the book. Like, it continues to serve and serve and serve. So this brings me to what I have for you. On this anniversary of my Goddess You book, we have put together a beautiful book study. And I say we, it's really my amazing team. My dear friend Colleen Fairchild, who's on my team, she's been my right-hand woman through writing all of my books, through helping me process as a dyslexic person, as an energy-sensitive person, like reminding me to find my grounding, reminding me what God has put in front of me, that I can jump over all of these hurdles, and I don't have to become the old version of me. I don't have to box myself in with any version of myself. So I get to recreate every time that I put this creativity into action. And now I do call myself an author, just by the way. Now I am calling myself that author because it takes a lot of energy to hold in those things that box us in, those old stories. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of worry, and it starts deteriorating our body so we don't physically feel well. Those stories that we tell ourselves over and over and over of, I'm not, I can't, I won't, I don't look like her, I don't look like him, I don't have those talents, I don't have those gifts, and that's the death of the ego. For me, what I have found personally is the more I let go of what I have framed myself from that younger version of myself to be, the more I let that go and I listen to what God says that I am, the more I realize these titles, they're more here because we make them more. These titles they don't have the value that I put on them. And so to say I'm an author is claiming a beauty that was given to me, that God gave to me. And it can be effortless. It doesn't have to come with a bunch of trying and overdoing and formulating. It has to do with leaning into His arms and embracing His words. So I want you to think about something in your life right now. Where are you? What is the thing that you are desiring most? What is that postcard vision that's been in front of you about creating or doing or becoming? And I want you to take a look at that. And I want you to step into the first goddess principle, which is quieting our mind. Because we can't do anything until we quiet our mind. And we have to lean into this space to say, like, what is it that I'm actually speaking to myself? What are the storylines behind what's appearing before me? And I know I did this in so many areas of my life, even with my healing work, right? The being in the energy with other people and helping them to heal and leaning into touching into heaven, tapping into heaven and channeling those messages and bringing them through, like letting go and bringing them through, and stop identifying, am I doing this right and am I doing this wrong, or can I let go? That's how I was able to move forward and start to have Godfidence. And Godfidence is something that we cannot get on our own. We cannot make Godfidence just happen. You can't be confident without purely looking at your soul, purely looking at, well, what does God ask me to do? And if he loves me this much, if he trusts me this much, why am I not trusting me this much? What has the outside world formed around me? What have they taught me? And how can I let that go? Because that doesn't belong in this new identity that I'm creating. It's huge. It's big, big, big stuff. So I want you to sit with that, and I want you to take that with you, and I want you to go ahead and journal about it, because the more clarity you get on this, the easier it's going to become, and the more it's going to open you up to releasing some of the toxicities of the thoughts that keep us in the same tone. So every time that I lean back into my goddess principles, I find a new aspect of myself coming forward. I find a little something sweet that was lost along the way, and I reclaim it. I lean in, I nurture her, and I remind her she's so safe. I remind her that I've got her back, that she was meant for this, that she doesn't have to try to be it, that she doesn't have to forget all of the things that she's already been through, that she can let them go too, that she doesn't have to carry on all that pain, because that pain isn't serving anyone. It does no good. And what is in the past really needs to stay there, because it will just keep repeating. The more we remember it, the more we remind ourselves in our thoughts, the more we claim the energy, the more we stay in it, the more stuck we become. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be there. I am not the girl that wants to stay stuck, because I have a calling. I have got things that I want to do. I have experiences that I want to claim, and those desires that my heart is really calling in. Well, that's the manifesting that I want to do. I want to do that with God, and I want to do that with the purity of love. And that's what I want for you. So now, let's circle around to my yummy little treat for you. As I said, my team and I, and my beautiful friend Colleen, will be leading a Goddess You book study. It's a deep dive into the principles of the Goddess You, and you are invited to join for free. It is highly recommended that you have a book, because obviously it's a book study. Any type of book group, you should have the book. But it is free to attend, and so we are going to add the link in the copy below this video and this podcast, so that you can join us and step into your true goddess self. Now, we're giving you time. This is not going to begin until the end of February. There's going to be lots of yummy details, and you are going to be going through the Goddess You book and the journal too. But listen, if you are really struggling and you don't have the finances to invest in a book, please reach out. We will find a way to support you. We don't want anybody to be left out. We want you to really step into this with your passion and your purpose and a willingness to do the work, right? Because if you do it, then you're going to shine the light, and that's going to spread healing into your family without you even trying. It's going to spread healing out into our world. And what does our world really need right now? It needs high vibration. It needs love. It needs you to step in, to say, I'm ready to claim all that I am. I'm ready to put fear down. I'm ready to stop this opinionation, and I'm really ready to claim all of my identity, all that God has asked me to do. That's what our world needs right now. So I do hope that you will join. Again, the details are below. I will be joining in. Colleen will be leading the group every week, and I'll be joining in after each section to come on to take those principles a little further. So really beautiful, easy peasy, and I know you're going to love it. And listen, if you want more in your life, if you are ready to claim some more yumminess about you, you're a sensitive soul, you're an empath, you're a healer, well, I have something else that's really beautiful. It's called my Soul Shine group. This is a group angel coaching experience. We meet twice a month, and so it's bi-monthly, and these sessions are a deeper dive where we get to be intimate with spirit together. I channel readings and messages directed towards the group, so every session is unique and different. And we also have a private community where you can gather with other like-minded souls who are healers, who are stepping into the purpose even more, or who maybe just want accountability. They want a partnership. So if this sounds familiar to you, I'm also going to put the Soul Shine group link below because we have a few more spots open, and I'd love for you to really join us. Listen, it's not for everyone. I'm going to be clear. Like, you have to be ready to put that work in. And if that's you, and you love being in God-based energy, you love being in the experience of supportive, like-minded souls serving each other, then yeah, it is definitely for you. Well, I thank you so much for joining me for this really short and sweet little Angels Don't Lie. And I hope that you take those tips about leaning into quieting your mind and trust that your journal is the great place to start. Putting your pen to your paper, there's science behind this, quiets the mind. It gets you out of your thinking head and into your physical body. And that's where the yumminess starts to happen. All right, you know I know what I know because angels don't lie. Have a beautiful day, my friend.
When she smiles at you, she'll say